Daily Words of God. In the work of the last days, the Word is mightier than the manifestation of signs and wonders, and the authority of the Word surpasses that of signs and wonders. The Word exposes all the corrupt dispositions buried deep in the heart of man. You have no way of recognizing them on your own. When they are laid bare before you through the Word, you will naturally come to discover them. You will not be able to deny them, and you will be utterly convinced. Is this not the authority of the Word? This is the result achieved by the work of the Word today. Therefore, it is not through the healing of sickness and casting out of demons that man can be fully saved from his sins, nor can he be made fully complete by the manifestation of signs and wonders. The authority to heal sickness and cast out demons only gives man grace, but the flesh of man still belongs to Satan, and the corrupt satanic disposition still remains within man. In other words, that which has not been made clean still pertains to sin and to filth. Only after he has been made clean through the agency of the Word can man be gained by God and become sanctified. When the demons were cast out of man and he was redeemed, this meant only that he was wrested out of Satan's hands and returned to God. However, without being made clean or changed by God, he remains as corrupt man. Within man still exist filth, opposition, and rebelliousness. Man has only returned to God through his redemption, but he has not the slightest knowledge of God and is still capable of resisting and betraying him. Before man was redeemed, many of Satan's poisons had already been planted within him, and after thousands of years of being corrupted by Satan, he has within him an established nature that resists God. Therefore, when man has been redeemed, it is nothing more than a case of redemption, in which man is bought at a high price. But the poisonous nature within him has not been eliminated. Man that is so defiled must undergo a change before becoming worthy to serve God. By means of this work of judgment and chastisement, man will fully come to know the filthy and corrupt essence within his own self, and he will be able to change completely and become clean. Only in this way can man become worthy to return before the throne of God. All the work done this day is so that man can be made clean and be changed. Through judgment and chastisement by the Word, as well as through refinement, man can purge away his corruption and be made pure. Rather than deeming this stage of work to be that of salvation, it would be more apt to say it is the work of purification. In truth, this stage is that of conquest, as well as the second stage in the work of salvation. It is through judgment and chastisement by the Word that man arrives at being gained by God, and it is through the use of the Word to refine, judge, and disclose that all of the impurities, notions, motives, and individual aspirations within man's heart are completely revealed. For all that man may have been redeemed and forgiven of his sins, it can only be considered as God not remembering the transgressions of man, and not treating man in accordance with his transgressions. However, when man, who lives in a body of flesh, has not been set free from sin, he can only continue to sin, endlessly revealing his corrupt satanic disposition. This is the life that man leads, an endless cycle of sinning and being forgiven. The majority of mankind sin in the day only to confess in the evening. This way, even though the sin offering is forever effective for man, it will not be able to save man from sin. Only half the work of salvation has been completed, for man still has a corrupt disposition. For instance, when people realized that they were descended from Moab, they brought forth words of complaint, ceased to pursue life, and became utterly negative. Does this not show that humanity is still unable to fully submit under the dominion of God? Is this not precisely their corrupt, satanic disposition? When you were not being subjected to chastisement, your hands were raised higher than all others, even that of Jesus. And you cried out in a loud voice, "Be a beloved son of God. Be an intimate of God. We would rather die than bow down to Satan. Revolt against the old Satan. Revolt against the great red dragon. May the great red dragon fall abjectly from power. May God make us complete." Your cries were louder than all others. But then came the time of chastisement, and once again, the corrupt disposition of humanity was revealed. Then their cries ceased, and their resolution failed. This is the corruption of man, running deeper than sin. It is something planted by Satan and deeply rooted within man. It is not easy for man to become aware of his sins. He has no way of recognizing his own deeply rooted nature, and he must rely on judgment by the Word in order to achieve this result. Only thus can man gradually be changed from this point onward. Man shouted thus in the past because he had no understanding of his inherent corrupt disposition. These are the impurities that exist within man. Throughout such a long period of judgment and chastisement, man lived in an atmosphere of tension. Was this not all achieved through the agency of the Word? Did you not also cry out with a very loud voice prior to the trial of the service doers? Enter the kingdom. All those who accept this name shall enter into the kingdom. All shall partake of God. When the trial of the service doers came, you no longer cried out. At the very beginning, all cried out, "O God, wherever you place me, I shall submit to being steered by you." Upon reading the words of God, "Who will be my Paul?" people said, "I am willing." Then they saw the words, "And what of the faith of Job?" and said, "I am willing to take upon myself the faith of Job. God, please put me to the test." When the trial of the service doers came, they collapsed at once and could hardly stand up again. After that, little by little, the impurities in their heart gradually diminished. Was this not achieved through the Word? So, what you have experienced today are results achieved through the Word. even greater than those achieved through Jesus' working of signs and wonders. The glory of God that you see, and the authority of God Himself that you see, are not merely seen by means of the crucifixion, by means of the healing of sickness and the casting out of demons, but even more so by means of the judgment of His Word. This shows you that the authority and power of God do not consist only of the working of signs, the healing of sickness, and the casting out of demons, but that the judgment of God's Word is better able to represent the authority of God and to reveal His almightiness.